In this video, I'm going to be comparing Dubsado with Bloom. Now, if you are a Dubsado user and you're looking for an alternative, well, Bloom.io might be a great solution for you because you should seriously consider it. I'm going to show you exactly why. It is a newer platform, has a beautiful modern design and tons of amazing features. Now, there's a reason why so many creatives are making the jump to Bloom. In this video, I'm going to dive into the central features and show you just side by side how these platforms compare. Now, there's going to be 6 different areas that I will be comparing. First, it's going to be the general usability and design. Now, that's important, obviously. Then we're going to look at tools that you can use to get new leads. Third, we're going to look at invoicing and payment tools. Fourth, asset delivery and client portal. And finally, the mobile app, and then pricing to wrap it up. Okay, if you're ready, let's dive in and see how these two platforms compare one against another. Okay, first and foremost, let's look at usability and design. Now, this is obviously important because, well, when we're dealing with all-in-one tools like these platforms, the user experience is very important. If it's not good, you'll be confused. You'll be navigating the system, trying to figure out where things are located. Instead of actually saving yourself time, you'll be wasting time trying to figure out how the thing works. And Dubsado, I'm not going to lie, if you even read the reviews online, it is known to be one of the most difficult platforms to get onboarded and start using. Now, when you first land into Dubsado or Bloom, you will see that both of them start you off on the dashboard. Now, right away, you will see tons of differences between the two platforms. Dubsado has a very dated look and feel to it. I get it, this is somewhat subjective, but even if you talk to any designers, they will all tell you that the colors, the fonts, the icons, the way the layout is, all of this feels very, well, let's just say 2001-ish, and it's not very easy and intuitive to navigate. On the other hand, if you go to Bloom, you'll see a completely different picture. In Bloom, I mean, it's just beautiful. The colors are beautiful. It appeals to the visual learner. If you're a visual learner and you need things to be clear and you need to see different, colors and icons that make sense to you, well, Bloom is just, it's a very modern design. It's made to be very, very easy to use. So that is important. That is very important if you're using an all-in-one system. Not only that, but it's important for your clients because if you're going to be giving them a client portal, the way the contract signing works, the way the forms work, the way, the invoicing, everything, the way it works, like the design you see and the usability is not just for you, it's for your clients. It represents your brand. Now, if I was you, I would be thinking about that seriously, especially if you offer a creative service because, well, your client experience is not just the end product. Your client experience is everything from the moment they first talk to you all the way to the end when they receive their final deliverables. So you have to be very cognizant of the entire client journey. And now Bloom is going to give you a much more modern experience. It's very fresh. It's very refreshing at the same time, if you will. So if you're thinking about switching from Dubsado to Bloom, well, I think it'll be very easy for you because if you can figure out how to use Dubsado, well, Bloom is going to be a piece of cake. Okay, now that's the more subjective part, if you will. That's the UI, UX, the usability aspect of it. Now let's go on and look at how these two platforms compare when it comes to capturing leads. Now, leads are very important, and you need tools to capture leads and to manage them. And Bloom and Dubsado both have these form builders that you can, easily embed on your website, or you can share a link. And this is standard for almost any CRM in this category. But you'll notice that the user experience is very different between the two platforms. Dubsado forms feel like, well, WordPress in 2001. I mean, those are just the standard forms that you're going to find just about anywhere. You'll find these type of forms on like a Samsung, or like, General Electric, your refrigerator broke down, you need to fill out kind of form. Whereas Bloom uses a completely different approach. The Bloom forms follow a design style, if you will, where they ask only one question at a time. And the reason for this is because, well, there's been a lot of research that has been done to show that if you ask one question at a time, consumers are much more likely to fill out the forms. And it mimics natural human conversation. You don't just dump 20 questions on somebody. You ask one question, wait for an answer, and ask the next question. So that's how the Bloom forms are meant to work. And now these forms, you'll notice in Bloom, there's 4 different kinds of forms, and all of them are incredibly powerful and follow the same model. There's lead capture forms, which are used to capture leads. Anytime one of these is filled out, a new lead is created, and you can manage them right here in your leads management section. Now, unlike Dubsado, Bloom actually has a dedicated leads manager. In Dubsado, the leads are grouped together into the projects. Now, again, if you only have a few leads at a time, this is okay. But if you're running ads and if you're dealing with lots of leads, Well, you need a dedicated leads management section. This is especially important for service-based businesses because if you're offering a service, typically your turnaround time or the time it takes for you to sell a client will be longer than just, a minute or two on your website like e-commerce. It's going to take weeks potentially of nurturing the client, of explaining your value. It could take months, before you close somebody. So you need a way to manage each one of those opportunities so they don't slip between the cracks. Your Gmail is not a good CRM. It's not a good lead manager. If a lead just comes into your Gmail and you're hoping you'll remember to follow up with all of them, that's just not smart. So Bloom gives you a dedicated space to do that. So there's lead capture forms, coming back to the forms. Then there's scheduling forms. Now this would replace Acuity or Calendly so that your scheduling happens right here in one place. Anytime one of these forms is filled out, you get a new event on your calendar. Now moving on, there are questionnaires. These forms are designed to complement your existing leads or projects. Say you need more questions answered before a project starts. Well, this will be a tool you'll use to ask a series of questions, and their answers will be linked right there into the project so that you can always reference them when you're handling this project. Okay, and finally, there's the instant booking forms. Now, these are incredibly powerful because it kind of combines everything in one form. You can create literally one form of a customer flow journey that follows the following pattern. You can ask a series of questions, and then you can give them the option to select a package, add-ons. You can have them pick a date and time. You can have them sign a contract. And most importantly, they can pay you right there on the spot. So if you have prepackaged options of your service, the instant booking forms will absolutely revolutionize your client experience. They're going to make you look professional. They're going to save you tons of time because now you can create as many instant booking packages as you need. I mean, think about that. You can have one on your, on your Instagram page. You can have some that are embedded on your website, on different pages of your website. Maybe if you're offering consultation and you offer some kind of design service, and maybe you're also a photographer, you can have different booking forms for each one of them. So that's incredibly powerful. And that's how the lead capture forms compare between Dubsado and Bloom. Actually, I forgot to mention one more thing. Bloom has another powerful feature that most CRMs in this space do not offer, and that is a live chat messenger. This is one of the easiest and best ways to capture new leads because, well, you embed this messenger on your website. And honestly, most people who will come to your website, they're curious about your service, but they're somewhat hesitant to fill out your lead capture form because they're like, well, this is going to start a formal conversation and I'm not sure I'm ready to go there because I don't want to imply something and that maybe I'm not quite ready. But if you give them the option for a casual chat, well, that's a lot easier. So by installing this messenger, which only takes 1 minute, you can have this live chat on your website, and Bloom has a mobile app so you can reply on the go, and you will give them the option to just start messaging you at any point. It's really powerful because in order for them to start messaging you, well, guess what? They have to leave their email address. So now you're also capturing a new lead. Incredibly powerful. And not only that, but this messenger widget also comes pre-installed with your lead booking forms right there in it. So incredibly powerful lead capture tools from Bloom. Way to go, Bloom. Okay, now moving on, let's look at the next part of my review, and that is the invoicing and payment tools. Now, again, similar to leads, and you will find that just like Bloom and Dubsado, and again, many of these all-in-one CRM types of tools, there are different tools that are designed to give you invoicing and payment solutions. And all of them will have some rudimentary version of it. They're going to have the ability to create and send an invoice and some ability to get paid right then on the spot. Now, again, just like with lead capture, you're going to see tons of differences with what Bloom has to offer. So first of all, let me just dive in to the project section in both Bloom and Dubsado, and you're going to see tons of differences right away visually. So you'll have a list of projects on both, of course, but in Bloom, you're going to see a workflow manager, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. Now, when you click on a project in Dubsado, you go to this page where you see emails, invoices, forms, appointments, workflows, tasks, and notes. And obviously, Dubsado is powerful. There's all these different features that are, grouped together to help you manage all of your projects here. I guess it's grouped into emails. You have kind of your project name, contract, tags, project status, client portal, et cetera, which is great. Now you want to have all of those. And then moving on, you'll see your invoices. So you can click add. And then this is where you build your invoice and you do new line item. And then here you fill out all of these fields to create an item. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, this is just, oof, there's just so much going on this page. Like I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting a headache just trying to figure out what is going on here. It is overwhelming. There's just so much going on, so many letters and fields and categories and tabs. And it is overwhelming. It's not very user-friendly. I'm not going to lie. I wish it was easier, but it's not. Okay, so moving on, you have forms. Again, just like in Bloom, you can attach forms and send to your client at any point. And then you have appointments. This would be the scheduler. So there's tons of overlap between those two features. And then workflows. Now, workflows are very different between the two platforms. We'll get to that in a minute. Tasks and notes, again, very similar between the two platforms. So let's go back to invoices. And this is where you're going to, this is really important for you. This is your business. You want to make sure that you're getting paid. You want to make sure that this part of your client experience is just the best because, well, this is them giving up their money, So you want to make sure your clients are comfortable doing that, especially if you're trying to raise your rates. If you want to raise your rates, you want to make sure your client experience is well spot on. Okay, so when you send a Dubsado invoice, here's what it'll look like. Okay, now when you're looking at this page, obviously, it's just a simple invoice. There's not much going on here, and it doesn't give you too many options of what you can do with it, even of how you might want to pay it. The Bloom invoices are incredibly powerful. They're like, this is probably one of the biggest reasons that anybody should switch to using Bloom from other platforms. Well, because when you send a Bloom invoice, you get tons of options. Watch, if I go to create an invoice right here, add invoice, you're going to see that first of all, I can template all of my items. So I just go new item, select what I need, and then you could just edit them easily. Piece of cake. And then you get this nice preview. This is what the email will look like when you send to your clients. Very professional. It has a nice cover art that showcases your work. You want to brand yourself as much as possible. Then you'll go to invoice PDF and you'll see tons of, you'll see, all the different line items along with this pay online button. And this is very important because Bloom features a very critical feature, and that is called the payment page. The payment page is a single URL that's going to give you everything that you need for this project on one page. Now, here's how it works. First, you build your invoice, then you're going to select your payment methods. And again, Bloom is going to stand out here because it can allow you to add to your invoice every payment method that you're already potentially using. So not just credit cards, but also ACH. If you live in the US, that is the easiest way to get paid without paying transaction fees or paying very little of them. Then you can also do PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo. There is no other invoicing tool that will allow you to add this directly into the invoice. Incredibly powerful. And then, of course, you can also add tipping. Why not? It's free money. And then you can offer a discount. You can offer retainers. There's just so much possibility and so much value. And you'll see right here that the client will select which payment to use when they decide to pay your invoices. So let me show you what this invoice looks like when it's ready to go. So here is the invoice page. Again, like I said, beautifully branded up top. You'll see the invoice total. And then right here, first of all, you see your client project details. Now, this is the project name, date, time, duration, location. All of these details are important when you're sending them their invoice. They want to make sure they know exactly what they're paying for. Then there's also a link to their client portal. This is wonderful because now you can onboard them right away so that in their client portal, they'll have access to all of their documents, their deliverables, their communication with you. Absolutely a fantastic feature. Then you have your invoice. Okay, obviously this is important. These are all the line items. This is what they're paying for. They can download it, etc., for reference. And then at the bottom, they have the option to sign a contract, which is incredibly powerful because when you build your invoice, you can also add contracts to it. Now, very few CRM all-in-one tools let you do this. This way, you don't have to send a separate email, ask them, hey, print this thing, sign it, scan it, please send it back to me. That just makes the whole client experience so clunky and it takes forever. And who knows, maybe they'll change their mind halfway through it, right? But when you send an invoice using the Bloom invoice link and the payment page, you get us all in one place. You have the credit card payment. If they want to use ACH, they can do that. They can also do mobile payments. They can do bank transfer, et cetera, et cetera. So everything is available on one page. You want to give your clients every possible payment option because that's how you get paid the fastest. Every client will have a different preference of how they pay you and how they do their own bookkeeping and record keeping of their payments. So obviously, that is incredibly powerful. Now, moving on, when we're talking about not just invoicing and payment tools, which is really important. And this is the third feature that I was reviewing. The next one is going to be asset delivery and client portal. Now, that's very important too, right? Each one of these steps is so important because we're talking about your client journey as they experience your service to them. Now, again, when you go to Dubsado, it doesn't have very much when it comes to asset delivery. They do have a client portal, which you can enable here. You set a password for your client and then you email them the password, which is okay. Whereas Bloom lets you just, send them a link and they create their own client portal password. But much more importantly, Bloom features an asset delivery aspects where you go right here to deliverables, you're going to see an image gallery builder. Now, right now, Bloom has image gallery delivering or digital image delivery as an asset. Later, they're going to add videos and other file forms. But right now, this is incredibly popular and especially valuable for photographers because, well, you can deliver all of your digitals here now in these beautiful galleries. If you go in here to create a gallery, you're going to see, a full builder. It's like Pixieset meets HubSpot. It's just incredibly fantastic, where now you don't have to, re-enter all of your client data into a new platform and try to manage everything, that all the work you're doing in different places. You can build a gallery right here, upload images, create albums, create a cover art. Then you go to design and you can change fonts, grids, spacing, color. All of this is available. And in the settings, this is where it gets really fun because now you can do like favoriting and making galleries private and allowing downloads and limiting downloads per user. This is especially valuable if you want to do some kind of image proofing. And then when you go into the download section, you'll see the activity that's happening, who's downloading what, and then in the actions, you can see what comments they're leaving, what images they're liking. So this is a complete image gallery delivery service right here inside of your CRM that Bloom has to offer. Incredibly valuable. Now you can cancel your image delivery service, and that alone will cover the payments for Bloom. So highly recommend for everyone to check out this feature set. Okay, so now moving on from asset delivery and client portal, we have the mobile app. Well, if you go to the Bloom website, you'll see at the bottom there's links to the mobile app. And Dubsado, on the other hand, unfortunately, for some reason, they still do not offer a mobile app, which is very unfortunate because, well, you kind of need the mobile app if you want to manage your projects on the go. It's very hard to do this from some kind of a login because the platform is just so broad and there's so many features, and on the phone it just doesn't make sense to do it from a web browser. So Bloom not only has a great app, it's well reviewed. It's something that's very important for your business on the go. Okay, and finally, when we talk about pricing, they're actually priced just about at the same price when I would say Bloom has so much more to offer. So if you go to monthly and you go to Dubsado, you'll see they have a starter package at $20 a month, whereas Bloom starter package is actually free. And then they have their premium package with all of their features, and that's $40 a month. And if you go to Bloom and you go to pricing, you'll see that the premium feature is right now at $33 a month because they have a new user promo going on, which offers 15% off. So definitely take advantage of this new user promo. But not only that, I have a special deal where I can give you 30% off if you use the code Dubsado30. So if you watch this video all the way to the end and you're curious to try Bloom, well, use the code Dubsado30, and it's a special migration. If you're using another tool, it's like, hey, switch to Bloom. We're going to give you a special to switch. Use that promo code and you'll get 30% off. So not only are you saving money on the platform, but now you can cancel your scheduling services, you can schedule your image delivery platforms, and you'll just be so much better off for the upcoming years to making your business efficient, making it profitable. You can focus on marketing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, before I wrap up this video, I'm going to show you one more feature that I think is so incredibly powerful in Bloom, and this is why so many people switch to Bloom. It's the way that workflows work. So if you're in the projects tab, this is the only CRM all-in-one, manager that gives you this kind of a task management tool where you can view every single project on one page. You have, for example, if you're a photographer who offers several different types of services, which many freelancers do, you'll have you can have your portraits here. and you'll go into this toolbox where you organize all of your tasks. And here I have like my discovery call. I need to send the invoice. I need to make sure I get paid. Then I offload the images, edit images, deliver images. Then I need to get referrals and then a follow-up email. And this is the main, arc of all of my clients that I want to make sure they go through these tasks. That is the most important flow for me to track. And so I am able to do this on one page, and it is just so satisfying marking them off as done. You can see these projects get completed, and you're completely in control of your business, especially if you're doing high volume or if you want to grow to doing high volume. You need a system like this. You can see from the dot, that's the status of the project. Then you have the project name, the date, the invoice total, the progress bar of how much of the invoice has been paid, and then you have all the tasks. This is an absolutely critical feature for your business. And then you have different workflows. So maybe you also do consultation where it's a different flow. And then maybe you do video service. So that's a different flow as well. So absolutely incredibly powerful. Bloom also has a full messenger here. Calendar, similar to Dubsado. Contacts is also somewhat similar. The profile tab on Bloom will actually let you build a pretty cool website right off the bat. So if you don't have a website already, this is an easy way to get started. And the last thing I'll say is in Bloom, the automations are incredibly easy to use. And this is very important. So once you start growing and you need to send automated replies, automated anything, as there's a project upcoming. So maybe you want to, send an email that's going to be triggered by like project date, and you want to send it, like 5 days before the project. You can do like a questionnaire, for example, based on a specialty, equals like portrait photography or something. So very easy to build automations and use this platform. Highly, highly recommend to anybody who's looking to grow their business, who wants to, offer a much more professional experience to your clients. Bloom is definitely something you want to try if you're a Dubsado user. And like I said before, use the promo code Dubsado30 and you'll get 30% off instead of 15. There's absolutely no time to waste. I'm not sure how long this promo will be running, so take advantage of it today, and we'll see you on the inside.